It was Ervin Szabo, a sociologist, who established the public library network in Budapest at the beginning of the 12th century. Now more than 110 years old, Metropolitan Ervin Szabo Library has 48 branches in 23 districts of Budapest. The Central Library started operating in 1931 in this building, the historical Winkheim Palace. This neo-Baroque palace was built between 1887 and 1889. Now, its decorative rooms can be seen in their original beauty. As you enter the building, it looks like a regular library, but with fancy doors. But when you take the elevator to the 4th floor, it is like you stepped into another, much more fancy world. From the top of the grand staircase, visitors to the palace could enter 3 rooms. The place for the orchestra is between the 2 ballrooms, so musicians could play in both directions. The former dining room and smoking room are different from the white and gold, and are covered in a more relaxing, darker wood. Tourists have to pay a small fee of about €4 to meander. Budapest and beyond! When you don't know who it was that did something, you say, that person is anonymous. But how did that specific word for an unknown person come about? Now, between the years 1172 and 1196, an unknown character in the court of King Bela III wrote a detailed history of the Magyar people. His identity was unknown for so long that when it was revealed that he was a Polish historian by the name of Gallus Anonymous, then his name, Anonymous, became synonymous with ambiguous. In City Park, there is a statue of a shrouded, mysterious figure opposite Vadahunyad Castle. It was created by Miklos Ligeti in 1903, and it was donated to the Hungarian nation by Franz Joseph I. Note the pen with the shiny tip in his hand. Writers, both real and aspiring, stroke the pen to gain writing skills and find literary success.
Alright, I'm gonna rub the pen, I'm gonna get Stephen King powers, I'm gonna write 100 novels.
My name is Veronika, I'm from Czech Republic, and I want to be a famous writer by poets.
Okay, my name is Dirk, I'm from Germany. My famous writer is Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. You heard about it? Yes.
My name is Forrest, and I want to be a famous writer, really in my own style, but a little bit of Rick Steves and Jackie Collins wouldn't hurt. So if you are an author in need of inspiration and success, stop by City Park and prime the pen for Mr. Anonymous himself. Budapest and beyond! Sitting pensively beside the Hungarian Parliament building is a statue of Attila Jo. He is one of the most prominent figures in Hungarian literature. His poems are taught in every Hungarian primary and secondary school. The brilliant poet had a dark and tough life.
The symbology is actually quite clear. He was quite a tragic figure, ultimately, died at the age of 32 of suspected suicide. And as you can see, he looks sadly out upon the Danube, slightly forlorn and not very happy at all.
He was a Marxist, a Freudian, and he suffered from schizophrenia and other mental illnesses. A few years ago, the temporary removal of the Attila Jo statue caused an enormous uproar. Many believed that the work had been removed permanently, but a few months later, the statue was returned. Many say it found a better place only a few meters away on the riverbank, and the people of Budapest and tourists can read the relevant Attila Jo quote placed on the statue. As if it flowed from my own heart in spate, wise was the Danube, turbulent and great. Budapest and beyond! The Art Walk, also known as Margaret Island Art Walk or just Artist Grove, is an area of Margaret Island Park in Budapest. This area is populated with an impressive amount of statues and busts representing notable artists in Hungarian history. Artists representing the fields of literature, music, fine arts, and theater arts are all here. A leisurely walk through this thick grove of notable Hungarian heads, along with access to Google, is a unique way to learn about art history. Over time, several statues have been damaged or stolen, but they're constantly replaced, and busts of new artists are placed on the promenade from time to time. There are currently around 40 artists represented in the Margaret Island Artists Grove. Budapest and beyond! If you turn a corner on Prater Street in Budapest, and you find you are suddenly confronted by bullies, you might have just walked into a much-loved art installation. The bronze sculpture, created in 2006 by Péter Szanivas, was inspired by a Hungarian young adult novel by Ferenc Molnár, A Pál utcai fiúk, The Paul Street Boys. The novel is about schoolboys in Budapest in 1889. The Paul Street Boys spend their free time at a vacant lot that they consider their home turf. When another gang of boys attempt to take over their turf, the Paul Street Boys are forced to fight and defend themselves. The Paul Street Boys win the war, with one of the smallest in their group repeatedly demonstrating that his bravery and loyalty surpasses his size. The novel, written in 1906, is a satire on European nationalism, and it ranks among the most famous books ever written in Hungary. Visit the world of Hungarian literature, alive and on the streets of Budapest. But look out for bullies. Budapest and beyond! Jenő Rajtó was a Hungarian journalist, pulp fiction writer, and playwright. He was born in Budapest on 29 March 1905, and he died in the Soviet Union on the 1st of January 1943. Despite the pulp nature of his writing, he's not only widely read in Hungary, but he's also much appreciated by literary critics. Many Hungarians believe that he lifted the pulp fiction genre to the level of serious art. In the early years of communism, his works were only available on the black market in pre-war editions. But then after the war, from the 1960s on, his novels were republished, and they gained instant popularity in Hungary. Jenő Rajtó's books still have a cult following to this day. The 14-Karat Roadster is a humorous novel originally published in 1940. The story of the 14-Karat Roadster involves a young rapscallion that wins a Nobel Prize in physics in a card game. He falls in love with a beautiful French girl. He exposes a dangerous gang of spies. He enlists in the French Foreign Legion. He helps an exiled ruler from a small African state to regain his throne. And he dreams of driving a car made of pure gold. This crazy string of events produces a multitude of perilous adventures, told with a shocking amount of humor. Visit the 14-Karat Roadster, right in the middle of District 7 in Budapest. Appropriately located on Jenő Rajtó Street in Budapest.